am Deep Patel from the Department of Mechanical Engineering. As you all know, we were discussing about the chapter number 11, that is the coupling, clutch and brake. And in the last lecture, we have discussed about the what is the meaning of coupling, clutch and brake. Then we have started the discussion about the clutches. In the clutches, we have discussed that the clutch is used whenever we want to engage or disengage the driving shaft and the driven shaft. And then we have discussed about the three types of the clutch. First was the disc clutch, second was the cone clutch, and third was the centrifugal clutch. Okay. Now, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the brakes. Okay, and then we will discuss about the various types of the brake. But first of all, you have to understand what is the meaning of the brake. Generally, we know that brake is used to reduce the speed of the vehicle or to stop the vehicle. Okay, and there are various kinds of the brakes are available that we will discuss in this lecture. Okay, so let us start with the brakes. So first of all, what is the definition of the brake? We can say that brake is the mechanical device which produce the frictional resistance against the moving machine member in order to slow down or to stop the motion of the machine. Okay, and the classification of the brakes are as under, that is the mechanical brake, second is the electrical brake, and third is the hydraulic brake. In the mechanical brake, there are total four types of the brakes are available, which we are going to use in our daily life. That is the block brake, second is the band brake, third is the internal expanding shoe brake, and fourth is the disc brake. Generally, these internal expanding brakes are used in the two-wheelers or in the four-wheelers. This brake we are using in our automobile vehicles. Okay. So we are very familiar with this type of the brake. So in this lecture, we are going to understand about the mechanical brakes. So first we will discuss about the block brake. Second, we will discuss about the band brake. Third, we will discuss about the internal expanding brake. Okay, and what are the applications of this type of the brakes? Okay, so let us start with the block brake. Okay, so the shoe brake or the block brake are two types. First is the single shoe brake and second is the double shoe brake. Okay, so this is the diagram. You can see in the diagram there is one shoe. Okay, above the shoe there is one lever, and lever and shoe is directly attached. Okay, now there is one fulcrum. With the fulcrum we can operate or we can uh, do the motion to the lever. Okay, now there is one wheel which is the rotated. The speed of the wheel we can reduce with the help of this brake. Okay, so this is a simple diagram. Now let us understand the working of this brake. Here you can see the wheel is rotated in the clockwise direction. Now, whenever we are going to press the lever, the shoe will engage with the driving wheel. Okay, so what happens? There will be the frictional forces appear in between the rotating wheel and the shoe. Okay, now the frictional force will act on the opposite direction. Okay, so here the wheel is rotating in the clockwise direction. Okay, now whenever we are going to apply the force on the lever, the shoe will engage with the wheel, so that the frictional force will be applied on the opposite direction or in the left side direction. Okay, so ultimately the resisting force, that is the frictional force, is applied. So due to that frictional force, the speed of the wheel will be reduced. Okay, so ultimately we can reduce the speed or we can stop the wheel. Okay, so this is the simple working of the single shoe brake. Okay, so here I have provided all the description that it consists of the block or shoe which is pressed against the rim of the revolving brake wheel. Now what happens? The frictional resistance between the block and the wheel causes the braking force to act on the wheel. Resulting, what happens? The rotational speed of the wheel will be reduced. Okay, and generally this type of the brake is used in the railway trains or in the tram cars. Okay. The Prony brake is the best example of the block brake. So this is what all about the single shoe brake. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about the double shoe brake. So this is the typical diagram of the double shoe brake. Here you can see in the double shoe brake there are two shoes provided. Okay. Second, here one spring is provided and the bell crank lever is provided to operate the brake. Now what happens here? In the normal conditions, the shoes are disengaged with the rotating wheel. Okay, so the wheel will be rotated in any direction, either in the clockwise direction or in the or anti-clockwise direction. For example, let us understand if the wheel is rotates in the clockwise direction. Now, if we want to reduce the speed of this wheel, then we have to apply the force on the bell crank lever. So whenever we are going to apply the force on the bell crank lever, what happens? Both the shoes will be engaged with the rotating wheel. Okay. Now whenever the shoes are engaged with the rotating wheel, the opposite frictional is provided. Okay, so we can say that the opposite frictional force is acting on the wheel. Okay, so that the speed of the wheel will be reduced because of this frictional force. Okay, now here we have provided the spring. Now what is the application of spring? Whenever we are going to reduce the load from the bell crank lever, it can easily come into its original position because of the spring force, because the spring will be acting the force in the inward direction. Okay, so after removal of the load from the bell crank lever, the shoes can be goes into the its original position with the help of this spring force. Okay, so this is what simple working of the double block brake or the double shoe brake. Okay, now all the description is given here, that the double shoe brake consists of the two blocks, okay, and which will apply the force on the rotating wheel. Okay, so we can say that when the force P or any kind of the force is applied on the bell crank lever, the spring is compressed and the brake is released. This type of the brake is generally used in the electrical cranes. Okay, and we know that the bicycle brake is the best example of the double shoe brake. Okay, or double block brake. Generally in the bicycle we are going to use the rubber shoe. Okay, so the frictional force of the rubber is very high, and whenever we apply the brake, that rubber shoe is directly engaged with the rim of the wheel, so ultimately the speed of the bicycle is reduced. So we can say that the bicycle is the best example of the double shoe brake. Okay, so this is what about the single shoe brake and the double shoe brake. Now we are going to discuss about our second type of the brake, that is the band brake. Here you can see two types of the band brakes are available. First is the simple band brake and second is the differential band brake. Now what is the difference between the simple band brake and the differential band brake? But before going to understand the difference, you have to first understand the components of the band brake. Here there is one band is attached over the rotating wheel. Okay, this band is made by the steel or rubber. Now the band is attached with the lever and we are going to apply the force on the lever to operate the brake. Okay, now we are going to understand the difference between the simple band brake and the differential band brake. Now in the simple band brake you can see the one end of the band is directly attached with the fulcrum and the second end of the band is attached to the opposite to the lever. Okay, now in the differential band brake what happens, the fulcrum is somewhat in between the A and B. You can see the fulcrum is in between the A and B. So the one end of the band is attached with the end of the lever and the second end of the band is attached with the other end of the lever. Okay, so you can see that the fulcrum is in between the two ends of the brake. Okay, and in the simple band brake, the fulcrum is directly attached with the one end of the band. Now, what is the application or what are the benefits we can get to change the position of the fulcrum? Okay, so here let us understand the working so you can easily understand what are the benefits we can get to change the position of the fulcrum. Okay, in the first simple band brake, what happens if the wheel is rotates in the clockwise direction and we want to stop the wheel, then we have to apply the force on the lever in the upward direction. You can see our lever is ABC. Okay, so whenever we want to stop the wheel in the simple band brake, we have to create force on in the upward direction. Okay, so simple the speed of the wheel will be reduced because of the frictional between the band and the pulley, and finally it will stop. Okay, now in the differential band brake, what we are going to get benefit. Okay, so here you can understand, if the wheel is rotates in the clockwise direction, then if we want to reduce the speed of this wheel, then we have to apply the force on the lever in the downward direction. So we can easily reduce the speed. So to create the force in the downward direction is more easy compared to create the force in the upward direction. Okay, so this is the benefit. Second benefit is that we have to apply less force compared to the simple band brake in the differential band brake. Okay, so the amount of force can also be reduced in the differential band brake. Okay, so if we change the position of the fulcrum, then we can reduce the applied force on the brake. Okay, so here you can understand that what is the difference between the simple band brake and the differential band brake. In the simple band brake, the fulcrum is directly attached with the end of the belt, and in the differential band brake, the fulcrum is in between the two ends of the band. Okay, and generally this band is made of the steel or rubber. Okay, in the simple band brake we have to create the upward force, and in the differential band brake we have to create the downward force to reduce or to stop the wheel. Okay, so all the description is given here, that it consists of the flexible steel band which is having the frictional liner attached to that steel material. Okay, now in the simple band brake, the one end of the band is attached to the fulcrum O, while the other end is attached to the lever B. Now whenever we are going to provide the upward force on the lever C, the lever will turns about the fulcrum O, and it will tights the belt. So we can say that the frictional force is applied on the opposite direction. Ultimately the speed will be reduced. Okay, in the differential band brake, what is the benefit we get? The end of the band is joined with the A and B, and the fulcrum is provided in between the A and B. Okay, generally this type of the brake is used in the civil construction equipments. Okay, so this is the simple application of the band brake. Okay, so this is what all about the band brake. Next we will discuss about the internal expanding shoe brake. Okay, so here you can see the diagram of the internal expanding shoe brake. So first of all, let us understand the components. Here there are two shoes provided, shoe 1 and shoe 2. That is, shoe 1 is denoted by the S1 and shoe 2 that is denoted by the S2. Now above the shoe there are frictional liner is attached. Okay, so here orange color component is the frictional liner. Okay, now this both the shoes are connects with the spring, as you can see in the figure. Okay, there is one operating lever. With the help of that operating lever we can operate the shoe in the in the outward direction or in the inward direction. Okay, next there are one brake drum. Okay, in which this internal expanding shoe brake is mounted. Okay, so these are the components of the internal expanding shoe brake. Now how it is working. So we can say that the brake drum, or we can say that the wheel will be rotated. Okay, so the brake drum will be rotated continuously. Now what happens whenever we want to stop or reduce the motion of the brake drum, then what we are going to do, we are going to provide the force on the operating lever. Okay, so whenever we are going to apply force on the operating lever, the shoe will be going outward, okay, from the center. So what happens whenever the shoe is going outward from the center, the frictional liner is attached with the brake drum. Okay, so there will be the frictional force will be provided in between the frictional liner and the brake drum, and this force in the opposite direction of the motion. So ultimately, due to the frictional force, we can reduce the speed. Okay, so here the application of spring is that whenever we are going to reduce the load from the operating lever, what happens, the spring will creates the force in the inward direction, okay, or in the center line. So what happens, the shoe will again moves to its original position because of the spring force. Okay, so again I am repeating, whenever we are going to apply force on the lever, the shoe will going to the outward direction. Now whenever the frictional liner is attached with the brake drum, the frictional force is applied in the opposite direction, so that the speed of the wheel will be reduced or the motion will be stopped. Okay, now whenever we are going to remove the load from the operating lever, the spring force will be applied on the two shoe, so that the shoe will be again come into its original position. Okay, so this is how the internal expanding shoe brake is work. Generally this type of the shoe brake is used in all the automobile vehicles. Okay, so here you can see all the description that it consists of the two shoe, that is S1 and S2. The outer surface of the shoe is covered with the frictional liner. Okay, so the frictional material is provided above the shoes. Okay, now each shoe is pivoted at the end about the fulcrum O1 and O2, and it is operated with the help of the operating lever and the cam mechanism. Now whenever the cam is operating, the shoes are pushed outward against the brake drum, and the frictional between the shoes and the drum is provided the braking torque, and ultimately the speed of the shoe will be reduced. Okay, so this type of the brake is commonly used in the motor car or in the light trucks. Okay, so generally in the all the automobile applications we are going to use this type of the internal expanding shoe brake. Okay, so in this lecture we have understand what is the meaning of the brake, what is the application of the brake, and what are the different kinds of the brakes are available. Okay, we have discussed about the three mechanical brake. First was the shoe brake, second was the band brake, and third was the internal expanding shoe brake. Generally the block brakes are used in the trains or in the bicycles, and the band brakes are used in the civil construction equipments. Generally this type of the internal expanding shoe brakes are used in the automobile vehicles. Okay, so this is what all about the brakes. In our next lecture we will discuss about the couplings. Okay, so thank you for today.